Welcome to Gimcrack Video. How may I help you?
Hey, what's going on, man? You got anything new to watch?
No, but we are running a special on sequels.
Is that over there on that shelf that says that it's not for human consumption?
No, on the one right next to it, it says 3 for $1.
Oh, let's just grab some. What could go wrong?
Enjoy your selection.
So you're telling me that you just click on the banana and it gives you a banana?
Not right away, but it does give you a banana. You've got to click on it for a while, or just leave it open. I don't know if you have to click on it or just leave it open. But yeah.
And so when you get the banana, do you eat it?
No, you can sell it to other people.
You click on the banana in order to get a banana.
Correct, but you have to click on it a lot of times. In order
to sell a banana.
And then you get like one banana every like 3 hours or something.
I see.
And then I turn around and sell the banana for like 3 cents. But of that 3 cents, I only get like a penny. So you can click a banana and maybe get a penny every like 5 hours.
They've created something that pays less than retail.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have to pay anything. It's all free. Unless you're buying the bananas. Somebody buys bananas, then it's a different story.
I'm having so much trouble grasping this concept. So who tallies your bananas?
The Mr. Tallyman.
I just don't think it's for me.
No. Well, it's not. Bananas aren't for everyone.
Well, at least this is an explanation for why you sent me a pic of your banana the other night.
Yes. And actually, yes. Yeah, it was a banana. Well, it was a digital banana.
So here's a fun fact. The guy who created this game, Robert Partison, his older username, he's a German user. I'm not gonna say the German words because I will mispronounce them, but the translation is deportation creates living space.
Well, that's problematic.
So it is a Nazi banana.
I did not see that coming.
Nobody ever does.
Hey-o.
Oh yes. Should we start it? Welcome to the Found on Shelf podcast, your home for the greatest films known to man that absolutely in no way whatsoever rips off any other franchises. My name is Dustin, and joining me is the saint to my Max, Patrick. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm Saint. He was more competent, but he wasn't as fun.
Yeah, like would you consider yourself more of a Max guy than a Saint guy?
I just don't usually play the straight man in the relationship.
Yeah, this Max was fun, drinking beer, eating Twinkies.
What the fuck was his accent? I pulled up his actor profile because I'm like, what is he going for? And he's from Canada, so yeah. I still don't know.
There was a lot of weird accents that didn't really make a lot of sense. But then again, not a lot made a lot of sense.
Didn't make a lot of sense. All the weird Egyptian accents in the CEO's office.
Yeah, well, those. Yeah, it's it's what happens when you film in South Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's.
So he's Elon Musk.
It's sort of, yeah.
Okay, so for the first part of this movie, like, he's going to be evil because obviously you're not making robots for any logical reason, right? But before they try to reveal he's evil, he gives this person a tour of the facility with nothing restricted. And the only reason anyone dies is because they break protocol and walk into an open firing range and get shot, and he has done like clearly he has done something wrong within the narrative, but actually as you watch the movie, he hasn't really done anything wrong up until that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I would consider to be a writing problem.
Sheen has done nothing wrong.
I know. Okay, so
Well, let's
tonight we are talking about Cyborg Cop 3. How did you find this?
I was looking for part 3 movies and that popped up.
An honest answer.
Yeah,
I like it.
Because I wanted to do a part 3 movie that wasn't a horror movie. I was trying to find some kind of an action sci-fi kind of movie, and there's not a lot of part 3s in that genre that are that fit the motif of our show. So it was a bit of a challenge, but I found this one. I was debating between this one and another one, and oddly enough, they both starred the same guy. So it was a coin toss, and I went with this one, and I'm glad that I did.
So the other one was Project Shadow Chaser?
Yeah, Product Shadow Chaser.
Now, I saw that as Project Shadow Chaser 2. What was the third? Or
There was a third.
I see. And there's a Delta Force 3.
There is a Delta Force 3, which is another option that I had. Although the year isn't over yet. So
Cue John Dorneal.
Would you like to see if you can try to pitch this movie to somebody?
Okay, here we go. Would you like to see a movie that's clearly the pilot for a 3-season action TV show that would air right after The Renegade every day, but never got the green light? Cyborg Cop 3.
This screams of like a TNT show in the late 90s.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking at, right? That's the vibe.
Yeah.
And that's why it almost works.
Yeah. Which is funny because, like I say, it's kind of a buddy cop film, but not quite at the same time. But it's weird because they're supposed to be federal marshals, but they're picking up jobs like bounty hunters.
Yeah, they're clearly mercenaries, but they say they're federal marshals.
Right.
Which I feel like is two different drafts of the script that no one really cared enough to resolve.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of that. But yeah. But I got a trailer for you. I don't remember how good it was. It might be kind of shitty. There was one that had really bad audio quality and one that didn't.
Just describing the movie. That was my job a minute ago. Now you're over here, you're taking it away from me.
It's kind of shitty. Next. All right. Yeah, here it is. I just remember it starts with a big explosion, so we'll see how good this quality is.
The new state-of-the-art Cyborg is out there, sowing death and destruction. And it's for sale.
Cyborgs? How many of them are there?
Frank Zagarino, Brian Genesee.
This would be more like a death thing.
They're the good guys. Will they stop the unstoppable?
Piece of cake, big guy, like riding the back.
Wait.
Cyborg Cop 3. Bigger, more exciting, and more explosive than ever before. Cyborg Cop 3. Are you ready?
The rest of the episode is just going to be 60 minutes of you going dirty. I'm just going to walk out the room. You're just going to do that for like the next hour, and it'll be our most avant-garde episode ever. Okay.
So let me catch you up to date here. Or did you want to say something first?
I do before we go
for it.
further because I've got this queued up. I did not soundbite it, but I just recorded it on my phone. The movie starts with a very kind of natural approach. It's like images of a field with bugs, and you just kind of hear like the cicadas in the background and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just open air, and then you hear an airplane coming, and the airplane is a crop duster is coming, and then as the crop duster flies overhead, you get the title for the movie, Cyborg Cop 3. After it does that, there's a musical cue in time with the logo.
Mhm.
And then the logo goes away. There's no more music, and it goes back to just kind of the natural sound everywhere. It is as if it is the stinger at the end of a TV show, like sit boo boo, sit good. I'm sorry, sit ubu, sit good boy.
Yes,
But-
ubu,
and
not
then
boo boo.
yeah, ubu. Okay, so like, listen.
We're sticklers for facts on this show.
Anyway, here's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It's just a corporate soundbite. I watched that and I couldn't like process it, so I watched it again, and it didn't make it any better. So I rewound and watched it a third time, and then I called my wife into the room to make her watch it too. I watched just like 5, and she's equally as mystified as I am. We watched it like 5 times. Like I watched this as many times as Kendrick Lamar played "Not Like Us" last night.
Yeah.
From the time of this recording, and I am mystified.
Yeah, the music on this movie was interesting.
But that's not. It's not even music. It is a choice. It is a choice to have a corporate music sting cue go with the logo of the film outside of all of the rest of the sound, and that's just it.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was that?
Well, if it makes you feel any better, this was the last movie that the guy that worked on music, the composer, this is the last movie he ever did, and it's also the last movie the editor ever did. So,
All right. Well, now explain to me why there's no Cyborg Cops in Cyborg Cop 3.
okay, so we're rejoining the famous duo of Saint and Max.
Okay, so we are rejoining them. I felt like we're joining them in media res, but I assumed the media that we are resing them in did not heretofore exist.
So all right, so the first part 1, Cyborg Cop 1, it was released 93 direct to video. It starred a guy named David Bradley he was an ex DEA agent named Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, really?
Yeah, it was 93. I don't know, but he was. So the gist of it is he got a call from his brother in the Caribbean who was asking for his help and said he's in some deep trouble and he needs him to come like bail him out. So he goes down there.
Startlingly similar to a plot of an episode of Mountain Monsters where they have to hunt chupacabra.
Well, what happens is his brother is actually being used as a science experiment that turns soldiers into cyborgs, and he was lured in there from the guy that was in charge of the cyborgs,
which used to be the replicator program until that hit a snafu.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, he calls his brother in there, and the guy wants to turn his brother into a cyborg as well, because that was the whole thing of it. He was to be the cop of the cyborgs. Like he was going to be policing the cyborgs.
So
like a firefighter fights fire, he is a cop that fights cyborgs. It wasn't a cyborg cop.
He was a Blade Runner?
I don't know what he was trying to be. Literally in the trailer for the movie, because I watched the trailer, it said part RoboCop, part Terminator. So they're not even trying to like hide the fact that they're just
man.
part RoboCop, part Terminator, straight to video. Yeah. So of course he blah 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 goes on. I guess he saves the day or whatever. So that was part 1. Okay. So part 2 came out in 94.
Mm-hmm.
And again features Jack Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
But this time there is a crime boss whose name is actually Jesse Starkraven. I love a boss named Starkraven. I kind of want to watch this because it sounds insane. He's convicted of killing a cop. He's like a crime boss guy. He's convicted of killing a cop, sentenced to death. But as he's on his way to it,
the good thing for him, he wasn't convicted of killing a cyborg cop, because I hear those sentences are even worse.
As he's on his way to the prison, he is kidnapped by government agents who turn him into a cyborg.
Yeah, that'll happen.
His name is now Spartacus.
No.
Yeah. So they have this.
So did they have a scene where he walks in and he's like, I am Spartacus.
I wouldn't know because I have not watched this one yet. I just kind of read up on it. I didn't watch the trailer for it. So he's under complete government control from the anti-terrorism group, and he's going to lead the other cyborgs. But something happens where somebody gets into the little spot where all the cyborgs are stationed and they start fucking, and it wakes him up out of his cyborg sleep. I guess. So he steals the control bracelet that controls all the other cyborgs, and then he goes like full on like Cyberman, and he wants to conquer all the cities and convert all the other humans into cyborg. And of course, Jack Ryan goes in and stops him.
Tale as old as time.
So that brings us to Cyborg Cop 3.
Cyborg as old as rhyme.
As you see, Saint and Max were not in any movies before this. In fact, this movie was also released as Terminal Impact.
So I was correct in two things. One,
Yes,
there was no in media to join them.
correct.
And then two, that it was a completely different movie that was tacked into this franchise for marketing reasons.
I mean, they're continuing the legacy of the story, Patrick. Just because it's got a different director, different writers, different actor, completely different plot, and is not related at all to the first two movies, it just means nothing.
I feel like you would have had a good career in Italian cinema. The 70s and the 80s. Just like, how many different Troll 3s can you release? At least 2.
As many as people are willing to watch. And if they're not willing to watch it, you make them watch it. And you start a podcast. So we are now caught up to date. If you have not seen the first two Cyborg Cop movies, it doesn't matter because this has nothing to do with it. Neither of those movies featured a cyborg cop. It wasn't even actually a cop. It was just an ex drug enforcement agent who was going against them. They're just basically trying to strive off the RoboCop name. This was the early days of, or not early days, but this is like the precursor to Asylum in the mockumentaries. And now we get to the scene that you had mentioned, where they are, Max and Saint are going after a crop duster for tax evasion.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Futuristic sci-fi cyborg movie starts off with busting a crop duster for tax evasion. But it's like they don't even bother going to the guy's house. They wait till he's flying, and then when he lands, they don't even let him get out of the plane, and they're like, hey, we're here to arrest you. And then he just goes, and takes off. And then they go to chase him. And another plane that just happens to be there, completely fueled up, ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy's like, I read a book. I know how to fly a plane. And then
it was How to Fly a Crop Duster for Dummies.
It very well could have been. And, they're chasing each other and all that shit happens. And at one point, I keep wanting to say Sam and Max, but it's Saint and Max. Sam and Max was an excellent video game.
Sam and Max would have been a much better movie. Sam and Max fight cyborg cops? Fuck yes.
I'd be down for that. Is that a game? It should be a game. I don't know if that was maybe it's DLC for something. I don't know.
I mean, it started as a comic. I'm sure there's maybe we can find that collection.
Yeah, it's Sam and Max versus cyborgs. It's if not, somebody had made a picture of it somewhere. You're looking for it, aren't you?
Yeah, no games about that.
All right.
Man, Sam and Max freelance police. What an amazing concept.
Mm-hmm. He taps the wing in midair like a flying pit maneuver kind of thing, and it just completely knocks the guy out. And
Top Gun Maverick, eat your goddamn heart out.
Yeah. And then Max. So your two characters here, Saint and Max. Saint is kind of like your straight man who's just always like trying to, he's always serious about everything. And then you've got Max, who's kind of the goofball.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. So all art can be broken down into the 4 Ninja Turtles. All archetypes, every character,
who are based on artists. So that's kind of meta.
So, they comprise the 4 humors.
Mm.
But within this theory, which I read on crack.com 10 years ago, we in this framing of how to view media criticism, Saint is Leonardo.
Yeah.
And Max is
Is
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, it works, right?
It does. And you've even got April O'Neil. Because you've got a female reporter in here. All right.
Maybe ask the question, have I ever seen an anchor woman wearing glasses on camera?
Usually they don't do that
No.
because
This
of glare.
movie, she specifically does do that, but only on camera. She does not wear glasses off camera, but she puts them on camera because the filmmaking language is, we shall signify that the woman is smart by having her wear glasses. However, in broadcast news, for the reason you said, you would not wear glasses on air because of glare and the way it obfuscates your face. So what you would do is you would wear contact lenses.
Yeah.
If you were
Or
like,
nothing. You would just
or
be
nothing.
Yeah, you'd just be staring at blurry objects like I do sometimes.
It was just a really kind of funny contradiction that I thought of. Like, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but you now that you mention that, it is quite different. There's a lot of things that just didn't really make sense, and like
Yeah, quite a few. We don't see a cyborg in this movie until what, 20 minutes in?
it's something like that, and we don't even know if he's a cyborg at that point, really.
Yeah. Okay, but Sam and Max, or Saint and Max, again, goddamn.
See, I got it stuck in your head now.
Saint and Max. They are they say they're federal marshals, but they also say they got this job from Harvey, who is their Charlie's Angels in this situation. He's Charlie.
Yep.
And he's paying them $400 to come do this.
Yeah.
Not each. In total.
Total. Yeah.
But like, what? Because that's not how federal marshals work.
Yeah, I mean, they're like bounty hunters, but then they keep saying they're federal marshals, so I don't.
Yeah, again, I think there were two separate scripts. I think there's a script in which they were federal marshals and a script in which they were bounty hunters. And the movie we see is like a combination of those scripts, but like in a way that like they just
took them and shuffled them together like playing cards. I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get the guy, whatever. He's in a tree, and then they go and talk to Harvey, and they're like, he offers them another job, and they're like, we want better pay, and blah, blah. And then we get introduced to our news reporter, Evelyn Reed is her name.
Yep, because her name is Evelyn, and she wears glasses so she can read.
Yes, and then we briefly meet our main baddie in this, who just goes by the name Sheen, but we don't really get much of him other than the fact that he is watching Evelyn's news report and he's walking around listening to a music box.
Now, a couple things. In the next scene, you see him, and he is in the biggest like chair I've ever seen. Like the chair is not really that big, but like what's going on is like the arms of the chair are like dwarfing the chair itself. And he's almost like so he's riding a chopper with hanger bars.
Yeah.
That's the way he's sitting in this chair, which doesn't scream wealth to me. It screams, this is the lawn chair that was on sale at the outdoor patio shop, and so that's what we're using in our backyard.
This is just what they had on hand in South Africa when they were filming this. And did you catch the explanation with the music box?
No.
Yeah, because he never fucking had one.
I don't think there needed to be an explanation. I think it was like, all right, this is the villainous affect we shall give this person.
He's dastardly, and he walks around listening to a tiny music box in his ear.
All right, so Ian Roberts is playing this character. What do I know him from?
I'm not sure what you might know him from. He was in a lot of
he was in a lot of
South
movies.
African films. Yeah, not a heck of a lot stateside, and that was not his actual voice. I mean, it was his voice, but that's not how he normally talks. I had to watch. I watched some other show that he did just to see, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I don't know what you would know him from because he wasn't in a lot of.
The answer is probably nothing. I'm probably confusing him with someone.
Tremors 5.
I have seen Tremors 5. I don't know that I know Tremors 5.
Yeah, I don't know what else you might know him from. King Solomon's Mine.
King Solomon's Mind?
Yeah, the TV
the 80s
miniseries.
movie?
No, the TV miniseries in 2004.
Oh, no. It was an episode of Tarzan: The Epic Adventures, but but just one episode. So
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, he was in a lot of South African TV shows and
I
movies.
do see that. Yeah. So I probably just don't know him.
No, but his voice that he was putting on in this movie kind of reminded me of like, it almost reminded me of the plutonium killer in in New York Ninja almost. That voice, that kind of like weird voice. It was just, I don't know. It made me laugh, and I was like, this can't be his real voice. So I had to look him up, and no, it's not.
I have seen Bloodlines.
Okay.
I think that's when they introduced Jamie Kennedy as a main player in the Tremors franchise.
Oh. Yeah, I really need to catch up on my my lore there.
So you can see B-Rad from Malibu's Most Wanted walk his way into Tremors.
Yeah.
The one they did on the island, I think it's 7. With the Shriekers on the island.
I did watch that one.
That one rules.
Yeah, that was kind of fun.
It may be one of the best Tremors movies.
Yeah, they got back to just being kind of fun.
Yeah.
Like I think it kind of took it like the first one was fun, and then it kind of started taking itself serious, it seemed. And then it's like, oh.
I don't know that it took itself seriously. I think they just got progressively worse until they got so dumb they were good again. Yeah. Tremors Shrieker Island. It's the 7th movie.
You know what? And they still haven't gone to space, have they? I am on board for Tremors in space.
It's just Dune.
Yeah, but it's on a spaceship. Like,
oh, I see.
Yeah, like maybe like that spaceship from Up or something, like a big giant one where they can hold like, a bunch of people living there, but they excavate some earth to make it be more natural. And they accidentally bring up Tremors with, their little creatures with them, and then all hell breaks loose on the spaceship.
You'd have to do it as a colony. Oh,
sure,
okay.
On an asteroid somewhere.
Yeah, and then maybe
then Han Solo flies the Millennium Falcon into it.
I mean, that's about how they wrote the Force Awakens, when like Rey escapes the planet and Han Solo's just there, and I'm like, I understand that they are trying to get their movie moving at a quick pace, but that's like it. I like that movie, but if you want me to tell you what the worst part of it is, my worst part is right there.
Yeah.
When Han Solo is just there, and I'm like, come on, JJ. But then he made Rise of Skywalker, and I'm like, you know what? I was too hard on you because this is worse.
See, I enjoyed Rise of Skywalker. I've enjoyed all the Star Wars movies to different degrees, but yeah,
I am so happy for you, because I don't know if I've had a more unpleasant viewing experience than for like a movie that I cared about than watching Rise of Skywalker.
Have you watched it again at all?
I don't know if I physically could.
All right.
I'm still angry about it.
That might be on the list for next season.
So I don't know. You're going to hear me complain a lot about Chris Terrio. Fucking Chris Terrio. Okay, how do you write Batman versus Superman and then they're like, I want you on my Star Wars movie?
Like, hey, he's a winner.
Yeah. He wrote one of the single. I have never had a movie scene take me out of a movie as quickly or as violently as the Martha scene from Batman versus Superman. I was like, what? And I have to say, the effect of watching Rise of Skywalker was like that for me for 90 minutes. The whole time I'm like, what?
Yeah, all right. I see the problems with it, but I think I still enjoyed it.
You know what? No, I like Cyborg Cop 3 more. Let's talk about Cyborg Cop 3.
What? All right, so back in our movie here. So the news reporter gets a mysterious phone call from somebody that wants to randomly meet her at some location, and she's just like, sure, and she just shows up by herself. None of this scene really makes a hell of a lot of sense.
You don't think it made sense that her inside informant would just greet her at the door of a secure facility and then give her a personal tour of the restricted areas of the facility that's clearly should be monitored. Walk her into the OR, have her confront the lead surgeon, and then escort her back out and say, "I don't want us to be seen together."
You got that, did you?
I also like how the lead surgeon doesn't say anything incriminating, and she's like, "I've got your ass."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then she walks out.
You were
and
doing surgery at night. I've got you.
Yeah, no one does surgery at night. And she walks outside and she gets hit in the head with by an assailant and then wakes up in the hospital. And I assume that what is supposed to happen what happens at the end of the movie is supposed to have transpired here. But I can't believe they made you wait to the end of the movie to pay this off. This was real easy. All he had to do was trigger her during the evening news to say some crazy shit like "Hail Ratma," you know.
It was a good callback. They made it all the way to the end. They're like, "Oh, remember?" And you're like, "You thought we forgot?"
No, it was not a good callback because at the end they're like, "Your name is Eve,"
because his name was Adam.
Because the other cyborg's name is Adam and her name is Evelyn, so Eve.
Yeah. But anyway, so as they're doing the tour, when she does get busted in, they're basically they say they're doing some sleep study on college students, and they're implanting a chip into one of the guys.
Again, the bad guy is just Elon Musk.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. And then she wakes up in the hospital and she leaves.
So like in real life, the bad guy is just Elon Musk.
Yeah. And then Sheen Musk calls her up and is like, "You need to come and see what's going on at Delta Tech." But he's got this voice where he's like, "You need to come and see what we're doing here." I did a clip one where he just said,
Proceed. Is everything going as planned?
Somehow Sheen returned. Okay, so and now we get to where they're trying to get to the meat of the story, and the dude invites her. She goes to Delta Tech. She shows up with her cameraman, and the guy was like, "We're experimenting with transferring insect blood into humans to have them enter radioactive areas."
Yeah, they were like, okay, if we turn people blood into cockroach blood, someone can walk into Chernobyl. I saw the HBO miniseries. I don't think that's how that works.
No, and it's never really brought to anything. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It only means,
but that's like every movie we watch. It doesn't mean anything.
But it's like, at least this portion of it was just kind of, I think it was just put in there to make it slightly different than the other cyborg movies, because it was like, hey, look, this is a cyborg, but it's also insect DNA. Ooh. But they're like, from him being an insect, like he gets controlled from this little computer bank, which looks just like a video card from the 90s. It's just plugged into a computer.
Okay, so this is the fiction of the movie. The Delta Tech is an evil robotics company that is secretly transforming people with or without their consent into robots by making their blood insect blood and then also doing some cybernetic stuff to them. And now they're cyborgs. However, all of the cyborgs have a radio frequency power supply that is routed to one cartridge CPU processor device. Essentially, it's just a video card plugged into a server inside Sheen's office. And if they cannot communicate with that server, they lose power and die, which is weird.
In like 48 hours or 24 hours or something like that.
28 hours.
28 hours.
28 hours, because he has 24 hours to deliver the cyborgs, and in 28 hours it all shut down, which to me sounds like he could complete his transaction and be fine. I mean, a 4 hour usage is more than some companies probably offer you.
I mean, that's more than you get with the little Apple 3D visor, I think.
This is where they're at. This is the fiction of the film. What has transpired is she's going to do her expose. He invites her up for good PR. She is still like fangs out. No, you're doing something fucked up here, which he is, because he's using them as weapons to sell. Right, so he's doing all this to turn people into weapons that he can manufacture.
Yeah, but it's what he shows her is just like he can pick up radioactive stuff and he could like drive in a car against a wall at 50 miles an hour.
Well, this is what I was getting into.
That's it.
They don't get to that plot until after she freaks out and steals from him, right? Like they don't actually get to the plot of him having like nefarious dealings until farther in the movie than they need to. They need to actually show that he's a villain to categorize him as a villain, because what we see is she's mad about. He just shows her the radioactive and safety stuff, and then she's still suspicious. Okay.
And then he's like, wait in my office while I do all these other shit that I don't want you to see. Just wait here in my office for me.
Put a pin in that. Yeah. Okay. And then he does a demonstration on the he does a like combat demonstration on a gun range, right? She has told her cameraman to sneak around and get footage of this. And her cameraman gets shot because he's hiding in the middle of an open live fire demonstration where no one knows he's there. And just gets shot. And she's like, damn it, Sheen, you'll pay for what you've done. And I'm like, well, within the narrative of the story, no, he didn't do anything.
Right. He's trespassing.
You told your guy to go do this against all rules, and he agreed to do it. So like, none of this is Sheen's fault. But for revenge, she rips out that power supply we were talking about, takes it with her, and escapes the facility. So now all the cyborgs are going to shut down in 28 hours, but he has to deliver them as a weapon shipment in 24 hours. Oh no, now we have stakes. Proceed. Considered voting Republican.
And like she sneaks off into a truck, like some semi truck that's doing some deliveries. I'm just like, okay. And
yeah, she stows away on a freight truck. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Sheen calls up Harvey. Harvey calls up the guys, and they're like, you guys.
Sheen's like, I need to find her. Yeah. And he's like, who's a real piece of scum that can get me what the fuck I need? And so he calls up Harvey. Harvey shows up to the apartment that Saint and Max share.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Saint and Max are in a TV show that does not exist.
Yeah, I want to see that show though. I would watch that
in
show.
A TV show that don't exist.
I like those characters.
They fight crime together. That's what's going on. And Harvey shows up.
Harvey
is trying to be George Burns.
Whoa, what happened? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, weird.
Is that why you hadn't talked in a while? You'd lost me?
I heard Bjard Burns or something, and I'm like, what the hell? Is he having a stroke? Is he okay?
No, I'm fine. Harvey's trying to be George Burns.
Yes, okay.
And I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that.
He shows up in that kind of tan suit, old dude with a cigar going, hey guys.
Yeah.
Like, there's no say goodnight, Gracie, but like that's his overall vibe.
Yeah, it's very much, yeah,
old school, older George Burns. Yeah, so he's like, I got a job for you. You know, it pays $5,000 each.
Yeah.
So they're en route. Sheen at a college. And they stop for gas, and so does the freight truck. And they pick up Miss Reed as a hitchhiker because Max wants to boink her. And then they get in a car chase because Sheen security finds them. This scene was kind of funny. They're like because they realize they're being followed. The guys pull up with guns, and Max is like, "You want to deal with this?" And Saint's like, "No, not really." And then they just wave the guys on and speed up.
Yeah,
that was legitimately a funny scene.
I'm telling you, I want to see more of these two characters with each other. I think that would be a fun movie.
26 episodes.
Yes, I'd watch every single one of them. I'd buy the Blu-ray of the complete season because they'd only get one season, but I'd buy it.
You would buy it in one of those like hard plastic translucent DVD covers that you're not sure if it's a bootleg or not.
Yeah,
From Fry's Electronics 3 years ago. You know exactly what the type of show this is.
And it's gonna say it was $72.99, but it's on sale for $15. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also during this chase scene, as well as a lot of this movie, the music, the music just does not fit. I clipped out a little bit of music. I think that was from this car chase scene. Hold on, it was.
Are you playing anything?
Yeah, I can hear it. You can't hear it?
Nope.
Interesting.
Must be the connection tonight.
It sounded like almost like the music from Little Ninjas, like that weird kind of music.
I'll be honest with you. I had none of the music. I didn't clock any of it.
All right. Well, let's do. All right. Can you hear the audio clips?
Prepare to beat
No,
off.
not anymore. I heard them earlier.
Huh.
I
Pretty
desperately do
unexciting
not want to
tips,
stop
I'll be
the
honest.
recording, though.
No, that's okay. I can I could just tell you the things here. Yeah. So they get up and then there is that shootout where the guy was like, earlier he said there's one thing you don't do, and that's talk about his mother, talking about Max. And then he's like, there's two things you don't do: pull a gun out on Max and talk about his mother.
The three things.
We should just watch Monty Python. This should be a Monty Python podcast. That'd be better. We're gonna retheme our podcast. It's gonna be Monty Python and 70s porn. And that's all we're going to talk about. But for now, we're forced to talk about Cyborg Cop 3 and get back to the thing here. Where are we at? They're going to college, and this is where we actually see a cop.
Jack and Max. I'm sorry. Satan Max go to college. That's right.
God.
You thought you'd seen everything, but Satan Max return in the new laugh out loud comedy of the summer.
Yeah, like 21 Jump Street, but with Saint and Max.
Delta House.
No, Delta Tech.
This movie is a farce.
It is, but it's not, and that's the problem. It is what it could have been and what it should have been, and what it is are just three different things.
So anyway, they had yeah, it is weird, but like I figured out where we're at. They had the huge car chase, right?
Yep.
And it comes to an abrupt end. She escapes somehow. Sheen shows up. It's like, oh, by the way, what I need you to do is catch I need you to find this woman. She has something I've stolen. And like, oh yeah, the woman that just left. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then they track her down at the same time as Sheen's personal security does, and then they shoot Sheen's personal security, having not shown the inner dialogue or decision-making process they went to from getting paid money to deciding, no, actually, we'll be on the reporter's side on this.
Well, I think it was because Max wanted to bang her.
Well, yeah, but how did he get Saint on board for turning the money down?
Because Saint is what we call a ride or die friend. He knows Max's needs, and he's willing to go along with it. He's like, you know what? $5,000, whatever. He needs to get laid. Yeah. No, it makes no goddamn sense. But so yeah, they wrestle. He shoots a Delta guy. Then they go to find Sheen, and the university cops end up arresting, or they're not arresting. They take the girl into custody because she's a witness, and they want to talk to her, and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys show up at the police station to go see the girl. And then our cyborg, Adam, goes to visit her in jail.
Sheen deduces that his only way to extract Evelyn Reed and the power supply that she has that he desperately needs is to just go ahead and send his cyborg army after her. So he sends Adam. Adam shows up at the police station in a ripoff of Terminator.
No, it was completely original. Not at all like Terminator.
In a trench coat, looking like Vincent Adult Man from BoJack Horseman. He was 3 cyborg children stacked together in a goddamn trench coat.
Like literally the only thing he didn't say was "I'll be back." Other than that, it was like a complete ripoff. Oh, it was so bad.
And Adam looks like he's trying to be Kevin Sorbo with Prince's goatee.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That has nothing to the conversation. I'm just saying.
No, it's an interesting visual though.
When the workday is done and you just want to stretch out and relax, reach for Mein Gotze, the most refreshing beer in Germany, with flavors that leave you agape. Come and find out why Mein Gotze is the official beer of the German spelunking team. Mein Gotze. When you're ready for a good time, just grip it and rip it.
Anyway, they have the huge firefight, and Saint Max and Evelyn escape to a deserted museum.
Yeah, sure. Where Max has beers stashed in a fireplace.
I'm telling you, there's an entire season of television that's backstory to whatever the fuck is going on in this movie.
And I would absolutely love it. Just like wherever Max goes, he's been there before and he's got beers stashed. It would be hysterical.
That's a great line. There's a good comedy deal in these people. If the Days of Our Lives guy would tell us what the fuck accent he's going for.
I just want more of it. That's all I know. I want more of it. Oh, and it's worth noting that I don't really have anything on him, but the guy that plays Adam, he's credited on IMDb as Justin Illusion.
Yeah, you know what's interesting is he's in like 3 of the other movies you decided you were going to watch with these guys in them.
Yeah, so yeah, yeah, you know, and you get big old fight scenes and blah blah.
Yeah, so Adam shows up at the museum just as Max and Evelyn are actually starting to get into each other. Like maybe Max is clearly into her, but maybe Evelyn could be into him. They start making out, and then boom, evil robot coming here to kick some ass.
Mm-hmm. Hey, when that happens.
A terrible kung fu fight.
Yeah.
Do end up abducting Evelyn. Saint and Max still have the power supply. So I'm a little confused at this point. Did they arrange to meet Sheen in the junkyard? Or did they just assume that Sheen would show up to the junkyard? Why?
No,
are they death-proofing a junkyard?
Because Sheen shows up and then they say Max is like, we'll offer you a trade. We have the device, you have the girl. Mm-hmm. We'll trade you the device for the girl. Meet us at the junkyard, because that's where his car was. Because his car, I guess, I don't remember his car ever being like impounded or whatever, but apparently it was. And I went to the junkyard. So that's where he's like, yeah, we'll go to the junkyard and I'll trade you the device for the girl. Mm-hmm. And it's funny because then Saint's like, are you sure you don't want to call back up? And Max is like, no, this time we're on our own. And I'm like, this whole fucking movie, you've been on your own. What do you mean this time? Yeah. Again, this is your backstory. This is the movie that happened before this movie.
Because theoretically, there's still federal marshals operating independently outside of the law at this point.
Yeah, and they're driving around the junkyard, setting up Home Alone style traps.
Yeah. Well, I think their intention is to be more Predator style traps.
That might be their intention, but I don't know. It's not good. But then all of a sudden, 4 cyborgs show up.
Have you ever seen the French film that John Hughes swears he wasn't ripping off when he wrote Home Alone, but he was totally ripping off when he wrote Home Alone?
No.
Deadly Games?
I don't think so.
Or 1-900 Santa. It's this French movie where like this rich kid has this play palace at his house, and his mom's the CEO of like a toy company, and this insane murder stalker who's dressed up like Santa shows up at the house to murder him. And he like kills his grandpa and his dog, and then the kid uses all of his rich toys to get violent revenge on Psycho Santa, which sounds funner than it is, but it's really kind of like this dark movie that gets bleak and sad in parts. However, it comes out like a year or two before Home Alone, and John Hughes totally saw it, totally based Home Alone off of it, and denied it forever.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, you should. Everyone should watch that movie, Deadly Games or 1-900 Santa Claus, but they both share one thing in common.
Macaulay Culkin?
No, I was going to say better than this movie.
No. Yeah, so in this movie, we do get now we get 4 cyborgs that show up. Sure. We haven't really talked about them before, but now there's 4 of them, because sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end up shooting them, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of them fall down. I think they're all kind of dead. But then Evelyn just happens to show up. And she is a sexy cyborg wearing all black. And her name is now Eve. And you're like, oh, shit. And then you're like, oh, that was the whole thing from the beginning when they put her, knocked her out, and now she's in the thing and blah, blah, blah. And then she goes to shoot Max, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a kind of intense showdown. And
well, hold on. Aren't you glad that they paid this off so well? Like, you've been waiting and waiting, and there's like a payoff with conflict here. Isn't that amazing? Is there not payoff here? Is there not conflict here?
She looks over at Max and just kind of falls down.
So yeah, it's the 28 hours has expired, and she loses power, as do all the other rogue cyborgs.
Yeah, and then I guess for they decide that they wanted to blow up.
Hold on. Let's paint the picture here.
Okay.
No, just because this is easily the most insane thing in the movie. So Sheen has botched his weapons deal. He appears to be fleeing his campus. So him and his henchmen are like packing up everything. And don't forget the music box,
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to leave. And I don't know why. There's no reason for them to leave from a legal perspective. There's nothing tying them to anything. The cyborgs are all dead, but like, can they prove that Sheen is involved in any way besides the word of 2 federal marshals who've been acting on their own and shooting people up with impunity for 2 days?
Yeah, there wasn't really a heck of a lot of reason for that.
If he's in bad with some weapons manufacturers, maybe, or more to the point, people who buy weapons from people, maybe he's afraid that they'll get to him. I'm not sure, but he's trying to flee.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide they want to stop Sheen, and that they can't do it through the legal system. So their recourse is to go back to the crop duster from the first part of the movie.
Hey, good callback, right?
Yeah. Steal his plane, fill the dispersal tank up with gasoline instead of pesticide, fly it over the school.
Yeah.
So Max shows up at the school, jumps out of his convertible, points a gun at the security guard for the college campus and says, set off the evacuation alarm or I'll shoot you. And they do. And then after everyone flees the campus, the plane flies just about on time, drops its load of gasoline.
And of course, Max goes room by room to make sure everyone evacuated, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're very extremely thorough.
Yeah, no, none of that happens.
And then he shoots the gasoline midair, and it turns into the biggest incendiary you have ever seen, and just blows up the whole fucking school.
Yeah,
which is interesting because all of the shots of the explosion are tight close-up shots, as opposed to wide shots of the campus like we were seeing earlier, almost as if they had a very small explosion they were trying to pass off as a large-scale explosion. But surely that's not a thing that happens.
No, but they did love their explosions in this movie. There was quite a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
You could just blow shit up in South Africa. You just show up, you're like, whatever, blow it up.
So anyway, they blow up the whole campus and Sheen with it. So the end of the movie is they set a school on fire.
Yeah. Now I did. God, I don't know, you probably won't hear this, but I did clip his evil speech at the end. I'm gonna play it, and if you can't hear it, I'll just come back in when it's over. So hang on.
Okay.
Hopefully it'll be on the recording.
The years I've spent creating the greatest advancements to modern science. All wasted. It's time for a new beginning.
But you see, he says it's time for a new beginning. So like
A new hope.
Sheen
Somehow
Sheen survived.
Saint and Max represent a dyad in the Force.
Everything blows up, and that's pretty much the end of the movie there. Like, did Eve just ever like recover? Is she just gone? What? I don't.
So I assume that when they say power off, they meant somehow their life force no longer works, but it would have been much better if you found out that it was just the control set for the chips and like, oh no, she's going to die, and then she faints, but then like she gets back up and now she's free of mind control, and Max gets the girl at the end, and Evelyn gets her scoop, and everyone gets the happy ending. So that was how I would have done it. It would have been the same movie, just with an extra shot, right?
Yeah.
And then Evelyn goes on the evening news. They break the story with all this evidence, and Sheen gets arrested, and they don't blow up a school.
Yeah, but then where are you going to put all those cool explosions?
You know, a great point. It's just the credits. The credits roll,
Yeah.
things just explode.
Okay, so that was the movie. Let's see. I kind of went through and looked at some stuff. Didn't find a heck of a lot on the director or the writers. But and everyone else was just kind of whatever. But our two main guys, they had quite the history. So we'll start with Saint, who was blonde-haired gentleman. Saint? Frank Zagarino, who was he was quite a prolific B movie star.
Oh yeah.
He was in Barbarian Queen in 1985, where he co-starred with Lana Clarkson, the woman who was killed by Phil Spector.
Oh, I've seen Barbarian Queen. I don't really remember a lot of Barbarian Queen.
I've seen a lot of Barbarian movies, and they all just blur in together, so I don't know which one's which.
There's a lot going on in Barbarian Queen that's all very problematic, but I don't remember like exactly the plot. I think it has a sequel too.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And it's a Roger Corman film, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was also in the Project Shadow Chaser 3, which is we were talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was in another movie in 1988 called Tenzan: The Ultimate Mission. Are you familiar with that movie at all? Have you heard of it? Tenzan.
No. What the fuck is Tenzan?
So Tenzan, The Ultimate Mission, was an internationally co-produced movie between Italy and
Japan,
North Korea.
Oh.
One of the very, very few co-produced North Korean films. And our man Frank loved taking pictures so much that the North Korean authorities, who were always on set to make sure everything was on the up and up, they suspected him of being a spy and had him arrested and jailed for 2 days and confiscated his camera.
The only North Korean movie I've ever seen is Paul Kasari.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
You ever seen Paul Kasari? It's the kaiju movie that's a blatant allegory for like how the Kim family has like controlled and exploited Korea. Because the person who made it was from South Korea. He was kidnapped to make propaganda films for North Korea.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about that. What didn't you mention that with the Little Ninjas one, right? Yep, I do remember that. Okay, so that was Frank. Now we get to Max. Your buddy Max, Brian Genesee.
He's a soap opera star.
He is. He was also in the 1991 TV series Street Justice with Carl Weathers.
Street Justice.
He was in Operation Delta Force 3, which I almost picked out. But yes, like you said, he was in soap operas. So this is kind of an interesting story because I don't. Do you watch soap operas? Do you know all about soap operas? I don't. I knew they were there. Are they still on the air? I don't even know.
I don't think that they're still on the air. Most of them aren't. Reality TV kind of did them in.
That makes sense.
But a lot of soap operas started even before television. A lot of them started on radio and transitioned into TV as TV became a bigger thing. Was he on like All My Children or Days of Our Lives?
Well, he was on the Bold and Beautiful, which I guess was a spinoff of something else. But it was a brand new show that was starting up, and he was asked to audition for the show. He
was on the inaugural episodes of the Bold and Beautiful.
Oh yeah. So he originally was asked, and he was living in New York at the time, and all the auditioning was going on in Los Angeles. So they'd record footage and send it to them and stuff. And he was asked to audition for the role of a character named Storm Logan. So they get the script and they just get like little chunks of it. And he heard the name Storm Logan and tried to envision what that character would look like. So he went into the audition dressed in like 1980s kind of streetwear, almost looking like a background character in the Warriors or something, and had a spiked hairdo. It's I would describe it as kind of a mix between Lost Boys and the Warriors kind of look. But it turned out that the character Storm Logan was supposed to be a lawyer. So they're like, but they really liked his look. They really liked the way he was delivering it, and they're like, hey, we need this kind of a character in our new soap opera. So they wrote an entire character around his flubbed interview, and that character was Rocco Carner.
Why does it sound like maybe that's the inspiration for Bender should not be allowed on TV?
I don't know, but it very well could be. But that was his thing, and he never shared that story until many years later on another podcast that I actually listened to a couple minutes of it to verify that this was the truth, because I like to fact check myself. Even I don't trust the Wikipedias. I look at things and I examine. So yeah, and then Brian went on to work in real estate. and then he released a novel, a erotic vampire novel.
So stop right there.
Okay.
Erotic vampire novel is a redundant statement.
Okay, that was on me, not on him, because he wrote it like a memoir almost.
Yeah, sure, Memoir of the Vampire.
Sure, and it's called Vampires, where the S is capital and the E is the sign of the euro, and then X. So it kind of looks like it says vampire sex. But I don't want to. I don't want to trash this guy. I don't want to talk bad about him, because I did kind of look into him, and he's actually a really nice guy. He's a really cool dude. He's very vocal about being an LGBTQ ally.
He wrote a vampire sex book.
Yeah. He posts a lot of stuff about protecting transgender kids, and he's very upfront about that stuff. So I gotta kind of give him. Yeah, and I really liked his character in this movie. I don't know about Rocco Carner from Bold and the Beautiful, but he seems like a genuinely good dude. So thank you, Brian, for bringing this character Max. That was fun. I like Max.
Max is cool. I would still like to know what the accent was. I don't hate it, but I would like to know what it was.
I'm wondering whose decision the accents were, because there was, like I said, there was a few accents that were really put on. And I'm like, that's okay. That's a choice. Not a great choice, but it's a choice. Most other people in the movie, even Evelyn Reed, did not go on to do.
Okay, but I do have to read the opening lines to Vampire Sex, because I've pulled it up.
Okay.
I am demon and God, the last of my kind. Read my story at your own peril.
All right.
Strong start.
Yeah. Oh, wait. How did I miss this? Okay. Hold on. Rewind this real quick. Fuck. How did I miss this? God damn it. Evelyn Reed.
Yeah.
Her name's Jenny McShane.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me see if I can play you a clip where you'll know who she is. Oh, God damn it. You can't hear clips, can you? But I'll play it and then maybe it'll come through. And if it doesn't, then let's see.
What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
She is the chick from Shark Attack 3 Megalodon that Jack says, let's go home and eat your pussy. Making her second appearance on this fine podcast. Look at that. Go Jenny McShane.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know how I missed that. Yeah, she was on Purple Rain, a couple other things, but not a hell of a lot.
Purple. Like she was in Purple Rain, a couple other things. Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Amazing film.
Well, she was in like she was like in the background of Purple Rain or something.
We could definitely talk about Under the Cherry Moon next season.
Oh, what's Under the Cherry Moon?
The Prince's other movie.
Oh, that's right, that one. Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
There's a third one I almost considered doing. Musical November.
Oh shit. That's about all I got for you. Shit. What do you got for us, Patrick?
What do I got for y'all?
In a way, I brought you here to offer you a job. You think you can do it better?
I offered you a job. You think you could do it better? Now here's your chance. So 3 things, the 3 things that you must change about this movie.
Establish that Sheen is a villain in the opening sequence. The opening sequence is no longer them chasing some dude for money. Like you can still have that scene if you want. That can be like the second or third scene. Actually, probably the second scene. But the scene before the actual title of the film, you're going to show Sheen doing some fucked up shit and establishing the stakes of producing cyborg weapons for unscrupulous individuals.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now we've determined a bad guy, set the tone for the film, given us excitement, and shown why it's called Cyborg Cop before the opening title sequence. Boom. Look at that. Second thing. The thing I said earlier about the end of the movie with Evelyn, where like the power goes down and actually that's just how you defeat the control sequence and she's fine now. Do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So now I've established a better beginning and a better end. What else do we want? Here's the third thing. This is now a TV show and we get 26 seasons. 26 episodes.
26 seasons. No, 26 seasons. You're right.
6 seasons in a movie.
Damn it, still waiting for that movie. Yes, I agree with those. I think that would be good. Yeah, I would love the Max and Saint TV show. That needs to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They might be a little old for it now, but maybe they could do a cartoon. I don't know. Tyson did a cartoon. Why not?
Did do a cartoon.
Do a cartoon, guys. All right. Well, that about wraps it up here for this fine episode of the Found on Shelf podcast. And if you somehow managed to find enjoyment from talking about Cyborg Cop 3, share this with your friends and subscribe, rate, share, leave a comment on iTunes or wherever you can. Go on Good Pods and leave us a rating and say hi. You can check us out on foundonshelfpod.com. You can leave us voicemails and feedback and blah blah blah, all that stuff, all the call to action nonsense. Look us up, Found on Shelf Pod, on whatever. Send us an email, foundonshelfpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you think of the show and offer suggestions for any movies you'd like us to check out in the future.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the Nazi banana. So what is the point of clicking it?
You just click it, man. That's it. Just click.
No, it's not working for me. We're gonna have to take it from the top. So you have a banana, and you click it, and then it gives you a banana.
Sometimes. but you don't know what kind of banana it's going to give you.
So it could give you a bad banana.
Yeah. I mean, you could get a worthless banana. You could
banana.
you could get a rare banana.
What is a rare banana?
I don't know. I haven't got one of those yet. I got one that's covered in stickers. I got one that looks like one of the heads on Easter Island. I got one that kind of got one that's all musical.
I just don't think it makes for exciting Twitch content, and I don't get why you keep streaming it.